Synchronous versus asynchronous. Simply put, synchronous means things happen in sequence, one after another, whereas asynchronous means things are triggered in order but may finish in a different order. Some programming languages are synchronous and others are asynchronous. PHP is by default synchronous, although there are add-ons that can make it act asynchronously. However, 99% of websites you work on will most likely have PHP set as synchronous. Here's an example PHP file. And it goes one line at a time, and it never goes to the next line until it finishes the previous line. So up here we are putting a random number into a variable called pgRandomNumber. We're showing what it is. We define a function. We show what the number still is. We then call the function, which sets a new random number, goes to sleep for 1 second, and then shows the new random number and returns it, thus setting it to this variable again. And then we show what that number is, and then I'm returning it as a result, as a JSON result. So if we run it here with the debug on, you can see it takes 1 second, and then it does do things 1, 2, 3, 4 in the order that we would expect for a synchronous action. I'm going to change this to not debug so that it only returns to JSON, so that we can then see the JavaScript demo. In JavaScript is an asynchronous language. Here's my little tiny JavaScript file. At the top, we are setting a variable named x to the value 9. Then we are going to print it to the console log. Here we are defining a function which is calling the PHP demo, which we know is going to wait 1 second, then return a random number between 500 and 999. It's going to show what the x value is before it calls to JSON. Then it's going to show the value after. Now down here we are multiplying x times 2, where they're going to then show the x value. Then we're going to call our JavaScript function called getNumber, which calls the PHP file, which waits a second. And then we're going to call our console log again, showing what the value is. So if this was synchronous, we would see console log saying 1, it's 9, 2, it's 18, do the get number, 3, it's 18, 4, it's some random number that the PHP returned, and then 5, it's that random number. But since JavaScript is asynchronous, it's going to show 1, 2, 3, and then while it's pausing, it's going to continue, and it's going to show 5, and then a second later it will show 4. Let's see. 1, there it's 9, 2, there it's 18, 3, it's inside the getNumber function, it's still 18, 5, it skipped 4 because it's asynchronous, it's 18, and then 4 shows up, and now it's 808. So if you are expecting your variables to be set in synchronous order, you can have a real problem in JavaScript. You need to keep that in mind when you're dealing with an asynchronous language. Now for the joke of the day. A programmer was arrested for writing unreadable code. He refused to comment. Have a great day. Subscribe for more on the business of programming.